So afterwards we have the discussion part, so then we would like to encourage you to participate. At the moment you still can relax. Cross-collaboration. So cross-collaboration, there are many chances. It can help you to reduce redundant effort in the projects, so you do not have to do the same thing twice. It can help you to advance standardization of important issues. It can help you to extend exploitation and dissemination activities. And one point which is also important is that the discussion in the user group of projects can lead to more stable and reliant project results and ideas for the future. So there are some chances behind collaboration, but there are also challenges. So first of all, why should we collaborate? So maybe at some point we need also to provide some incentives from the outside. We have to define who should collaborate and how should we collaborate. So IPR is a difficult topic when it comes to collaboration between projects where you have competitors inside. So we have a project with Opel. For us it's difficult to collaborate with another project where Fiat is included. So this is something which prevents sometimes collaboration. And another thing which prevents collaboration is that work plans are not always synchronized. So projects which should work together, they must have the same schedule. There are some of the outcomes from our cross collaboration event, and here we see in one slide the technical cross-cutting issues of the different projects. And as you have seen already before, we have compiled them into one project matrix, where you can clearly see that our projects have same research topics. We are facing similar research topics. We are working in similar and same application areas, and we have similar or same use cases. So I think that is a good slide to present our group at once. For the future, we would like to propose to increase that collaboration between the projects, and to do so, we would like to stimulate other events like this. We would like to meet maybe semi-annual for audio conference to discuss important issues. We would like to create joint publications. This has been partly done between the Whisper project and the North4Car project. Also other projects could join. We also are thinking about establishing groups for knowledge exchange. Semantic technologies is a big issue for knowledge exchange. We have seen that Whisper, North4Car, and PLM are working in this area, so they could collaborate. And finally, we want to set out for new networks and build new initiatives. And here we see the potential for IMS activities where partners can join and can build up a larger network. Some highlights, where will you find us in the next time? So as I announced, North4Car and Whisper, we have created a session at the IFAC HMS. There will also be some newsletters. They come up in September. The ARON project and the Theoretic project will be on some conferences in the next time. But there are three really important events which I would like to announce here. This is the Money Future event. They are all in autumn, very condensed, but maybe at least one of these events we can meet and go on with our discussions and our collaboration. Money Future, World Manufacturing Forum, and especially the ICT conference in Vilnius, where many projects have applied to present what they are doing. And I think the ICT conference will be most probably this is the event where we all come together again. I also would like to announce the creation of a social network group. This is called PLM Digital Factory and Simulation for Horizon 2020. And if you want to get some more information about ongoing activities, if you would like to discuss with us, then you're warmly invited to join our LinkedIn group. Regarding the impact, what we have seen so far, all projects have done nice dissemination activities, and dissemination activities, they are clearly measurable, so there are no worries about that. We have attended workshops and conferences, we have created websites which are nice and flyers. Some projects are using social media. So the research project has no social media account. I would maybe later raise the question, do we need social media and what is the advantage of social media for an integer and closed project? So in our case it was not yet necessary, but I think there are many cases where it's really helpful. Regarding exploitation activities, all the projects are developing demonstrators. Problems might come up when it comes to integration of the demonstrators in the real industrial environment. So, the question is here, how can we ensure that the project won't become a project without product applicability? And this is a really difficult thing to measure, because the impact of a project is only perceivable in the end or after the project. So this is maybe also a topic which can be discussed later on. About the R&D activities, all projects have proposed very challenging research goals, and they seem well on track with their goals. However, it's too early to assess the real impact. The impact is mainly expected. So also here, how can we make sure that the project will really establish the impact which they have promised? It's an open question which can be raised later. Questions so far? Then, let's start the discussion on the EFRA roadmap. And we have seen the EFRA roadmap consists of challenges and opportunities. We have informations about technologies and technology enablers. And the main part in the EFRA roadmap is about research and innovation priorities. And we have taken a look into the research and innovation priorities, and we tried to give some additional recommendations to them. First big topic is about interoperability by semantics. Semantics apparently plays an important role in the PLM of the future, and we think that it's useful to establish a roadmap which is elaborated by a working group for consistent interoperable data representation on a geometric level, but also on the level of process data. And not to forget here is to include aspects of quality of data. So how can we ensure that data is consistent and complete and so on. So we want in this topic then also promote the semantic digital factory. This is a term which we would propose in order to bring some kind of standardization into the semantic modeling processes. And also this semantic digital factory should think about how to create an interface to the IoT world. So how can we integrate cyber-physical systems with the digital models? Another recommendation is here also, we have them to synchronize the digital models with the real world. So self-adjustment of digital models triggered by smart objects. And I have here two examples. One of them is a container, which can automatically assess how many products are into it, and then he sends this information to the MES or ERP system. But similarly, in a smart factory, we are working on a demonstrator for automation, and when you remove different parts here, then your digital model of your demonstrator will automatically adjust. And so you always see which configuration of your factory is implemented. Another recommendation is also to add social aspects. So the workforce, they are your most competent or your most valuable assets in your factory or in your enterprise. So when we provide the digital factory data on the shop floor, then we must always also find ways for the users to use that data, but also to change that data, to add recommendations and annotations to what is provided to them from the digital factory world. So this information flow must be bi-directional. Okay, regarding these recommendations, there are also some questions. So one of the questions is how to improve the factory model and the quality of distributed factory data with real-time measured data for holistic monitoring and management, activity planning, faster ramp-up, and quality control in multi-stage production. So, Paul, do you have some ideas to that?
Hello, yeah. So we try to ask you some feedback on the first question, which is how to improve the factory models and the quality of data. We think this is perhaps a topic that would be of interest. We provide some possible hints because we need this for what reason? We listed 4 possibilities, but maybe there are other applications because we need good quality of data, good quality monitoring and management, to plan correctly our activities, to do correct ramp up, etc. So multi-stage production is important for quality of production. So I like to ask you any experience or any feelings you have about quality of data for running applications.
I think we need to ask first the question. I think we need to ask the question, what kind of data do we have and what will be the benefit of this data? In the sense of factory data is everything. We have product-related data, we have process-related data, organization-related data, more equipment-related data. So I think to generalize and look very holistic level to this data structure, it is in my sense not really possible. So we need really standardized ways how we talk about data and which kind of data do we mean. Do we mean the data which is collected on the machine level? Do we mean the data which is collected on the line level or in the department level or in the factory level? So there are multi-layers of different data and different value creation factors. And these data need to be considered on, if we talk about sustainability, for example, in 3 dimensions. It means what is the benefit, the ecological, economical impact of the data, the ecological impact of the data, and also the social impact of the data. And I think that is more relevant than to say,
This is Dimitris from UPFL. Thank you for proposing this topic. So in session C, there will be another project with design, which will be presented and focuses on semantics for between design and manufacturing, and we are talking about these questions. Also, this project has an IMS dimension where the topic is semantic interoperability. And tomorrow there will be a session on standardization. These questions will be addressed, I hope. And yes, I believe that semantic technologies, ontologies are new technologies, and they offer a field to work to solve this problem of interoperability, which is a natural way, I would say. Of course, interoperability, there is activity, there is a platform also. The actual solutions are mostly technical solutions. I believe that with these technologies we go towards model-based solutions and probably in the future there.
Yeah, I think there's
So if there's a question and somehow a small answer. So we represent another FP7 project which is not running under the Factory of the Future area, but we are working in a smart robotics project. Currently, especially on that last part, quality of distributed data, factory data, engineering data, and things with real-time measured data. So we are looking here for data in the multiple gigawatts area, all to connect, for instance, also with the factory provider centric in the range of 30,000 millimachines. So that is a collaboration and cooperation activity which we can offer from our side.
Derek Seglarek, University of Warwick, UK. Actually, very interesting topics here related to factory models and data, which is very crucial. I would say, actually, some of the bullets which you brought here actually also very important, and I would even go beyond that. Quality control in multi-stage production, most of the system multi-stage. Quality control has limitation. For example, looking how to, as Rolf was saying earlier, data is generated in more and more data is generated. Therefore, actually, it's becoming issue not only quality control in terms of the detection of the failures, but also looking at root causes of the problems. Looking at the adjustment of the processes. So just going beyond the quality control to next generation quality control. There is one aspect. Second, more and more data is generated. Therefore, new architecture, for example, for any process, quality improvement, looking at the gauges, measurement gauges, which is capturing more and more data directly during the production. This also have to be related very closely to real-time optimization, which potentially is happening, or at least will be happening in the near future. So just a couple of items related to quality control. And of course, this is related to ramp-up time, as you are saying here, and a number of other issues as well. So just a couple of points in this first one.
So obviously, I appreciate your input. We see that it's a big topic, the quality of data. I just want to incite you also to discuss the second question, which is about ontology. We discussed in many projects, probably the next section will talk also more about ontologies. It is a lot, okay, no problem. Let's see, what is the status? Is it useful? How much useful it is? How much we have done? Is the industry using them? What needs to be done more? And well, we can also say how ontologies help with the quality of data. So all these questions, I'd like to have some feeling of, are we in the right track? Do we have ontologies to use the data streams or the potential? What do we have to do more? Any interactions here? Because obviously many research projects are using this, myself too. So I'd like to see where we are, some discussion.
Hi, Cash Buller. As usual, I'm always representing SMEs at these sort of events. Talking about ontologies, again, some of the topic areas that we've highlighted are areas that we can understand have got the issues. But when it comes to implementation, this is where the issues arise. We talk about semantics, but ultimately we also talk about interoperability. The difficulty is when you start to integrate, it's not necessarily going to be interoperable. And I think one of the biggest challenges is, first of all, understanding ontologies themselves, but more importantly is how do you actually implement them? And I think that's really the challenge. So when you're talking about different layers of SMEs, I mean, I know quite often with the projects we talk about SMEs being Siemens. Okay, they will implement them. If you're talking about true SMEs, the sort of 90% of companies, they have got no idea how they can implement the ontology models. So that's the challenge.
So we thank you for the input. Obviously, implementation is an important part that we cannot forget to be accepted by the industry. Also, well, from my understanding, we did a lot of progress in the community, but perhaps we still have a lot to do to make them complete and useful for the industry. But again, I don't know if you want to say something about these things. Yeah.
From the Smart Vortex project at Smart. So I've seen that in the previous slides regarding ontologies, especially factory data and process data has been addressed. What we see as critical also is organizational data to be put into ontologies and semantic models, and especially in order to enable the collaboration between the different institutions and organizations working together in new virtual enterprise paradigms, and to foster the interoperability on the organizational level as well, and to support intellectual property rights management and so on. So that's an important topic.
Okay, good. So I think maybe because of time we can move forward if there's not more action. Yeah, so here we talk about multidisciplinarity. Well, it's like a continuation of our topic a little bit, interoperability, but considering multiple disciplines, because as we know, and we've seen some projects already, but we will see more, I'm sure, later on. When you design and build products and factories, you have many disciplines going on, of course. That's what we say here. So, how do you see that in terms of interoperability? Where are we? This is an old topic, and we still talk about it. Where are we with regard to solving these interoperability problems when multiple disciplines are collaborating? Did we solve the problem, or are we still more work to do in this domain?
In this case, I think we need to ask which streams are relevant to generate information out of it. And I'm representing here the Hub project, and I will later give some answers maybe on which streams could be real have information.
Okay. Thank you very much. So this is in session B, I guess? So,
Yes.
Okay, good. So we will hear something in session B about multidisciplinarity and interoperability. If there's no more questions or feedback, we can go to the next topic.
Darek Siglar, University of Warwick. Do you see any other opportunities beyond the semantics? In other words, semantics is just one representation, which is great and is helpful. But when you talk about the factor, digital factor, you are dealing with the heterogeneous data, models, representations, and so on. Why semantics? Is there anything else beyond that? Or
It's a very good question. I'm glad that you brought that point. We saw a project, which was a very interesting project. I forgot the name by Mr. I think there they showed another representation, which was helps interoperability. Of course, I'll let you say something. But for me, also, in addition to semantics, the modeling aspects. You know, new models come, which are more integrated, more high level, or more refined, more detailed, are very needed and very helpful at the same time. As we progress in we saw a project about ultrasonic modeling and other very advanced simulation. I'm sure there is modeling behind it, very complex modeling. So we saw at least two projects, or some others, that involve very complex representations, very complex modeling, and we will see more in the future. This has to be integrated and be available to collaborate with multiple your project with regard to this question? Yeah.
And actually, for the terrific project, we get big issues because we want also to all the tools produced within the project that we want to be compatible with some STP initiatives, and that's a big issue for the project today. And obviously, those new methods and isometric geometry could be for the future a key issue of interoperability. And well, as I said before, we still have some time to go until we see it coming down to major vendors like we are.
I don't know if your project wants to say something about that.
Just a comment about semantics. In Symposium, we were working with non-destructive testing, and when we have some discussion with people from fracture mechanics, mechanical analysis, they always say, in our project, there is no defect at all. There are some anomalies. There are some specific properties in given positions, but there are no defects. And even if we are all talking about the same products, we all have some different words, all different semantics, and it's a real obstacle to go beyond for different projects. So I agree, this is something we need to struggle.
Okay, so we go on probably with some last
So I understand we have to speed up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, we had also the topic today about new UIs, innovative user interfaces, and how to provide that data on the shop floor, how to collaborate on the shop floor, how to improve decision-making processes, and we would also recommend here some additions to the EFRA roadmap. Especially the topic of apps are really important. So we have a lot of contact with enterprises, and they come to us and always ask us, okay, what can we do with the app? Can't you develop for us an app for control, parameterization, monitoring, or management of anything? So I think we will also move forward in terms of new application paradigms and interaction paradigms in the factory. And one of the key enabling technology here is augmented reality. And augmented reality is certainly very interesting, also promoted by big technology companies like Google now with the Google Glasses. But still for some usage in the factory, at the shop floor, we have the impression that the technology is not mature enough, and still we need to further develop also the base technology here. So some questions here. What are the UI requirements for the factory or for factory applications? What are the different stakeholder views and needs? And what are the needs for processing real-time measured data and forecasting? And finally, what is the role of ontology modeling and predictive analysis? So maybe we can only stick to the first one. So what is your impression about this new opportunity regarding smartphones, tablets, augmented reality, and new interaction paradigms?
Yeah, so because time is limited, we will focus on the first question. But just to give you an introduction, we have the earlier that now technology provides you all this big data and all that, you know. So that means now we have the opportunity to harness all this. And so, what data do you want to see in your smartphone or whatever? I mean, of course, and we see it fit the applications and the needs. The data that you want to see, so you can supervise your factory, or you can supervise your project, or you can monitor the progress. Can we have some feedback about that? Or the first question, because there's no time for the rest.
Just quick comment on that. I would rephrase the question perhaps, not necessarily what data we needed, because every factor, every component will need different data. But what we know is that we need much more and more data. So maybe the question is kind of looking at the metadata or architecture which need to be developed. Because it doesn't matter what we say today, more and more data will be required and more data available through number of different devices as we know. So the question is how we ask right now correct questions, such ways that, for example, this group can help us to answer, or help, for example, you or all of us to answer. So this is more comments actually, how to make it as constructive as we can.